Motivation on E. Whole why find my peace, dear Lord. It's your boy Chris Lee. Begging you to set me free. We both know what I couldn't be. Let me loose and reclaim my sleep. No time for sleep. I bet it all on me. I bet it all on me. I've been focused on this grind, ain't gonna let up. I've been down for too long, I got fed up. Say it written when I corner for the setup.
What up? It's your boy Chris Lee in another exciting episode of Blerd Talk. Now, a lot of y'all might be asking yourself, what the heck is Blerd Talk, Chris? What is this about? Blerd Talk, in short, is anything dealing with any conversations or debates surrounding the big kingdom of nerdom. So from movies to TV shows to pop culture to music to gaming, comic books, anything related to nerdom, that's what we're talking about. Now, I'm going to have moments where I go on rants because I'm so passionate about a project or so passionate about a subject. So if you like those type of things, if you like that type of energy, then make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. Now, make sure you also hit that notification bell so you'll get updates on my latest episodes. This is Blerd Talk episode 3. Now let's jump into it. Marvel's Echo season 1. Now, if none of y'all have seen the series called Echo on Disney Plus, I recommend going and watch that first before coming here, because I'm going to spoil it for you. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to throw a whole lot of spoilers out there. You could be very upset because you would have found out some very upsetting things before you get to watch the show, and you're gonna be mad at yourself. I'm like, damn you, Chris. Yeah. So, like, right now, go watch it. Now, for those who have watched the entire series, there's only one series out. And a lot of you may have your own opinions on it, but my opinion, this is my review on it. So me and my wife have watched together. This is technically me and my wife's first Marvel series we've watched together. However, that does not mean it's my first Marvel series I've watched. Okay. Now, what that basically means is she watched it with me. Normally, I watch all the Marvel's TV shows, content, movies, and all that normally by myself. Now, she does have her favorite movie from Marvel. She like Avengers Endgame because the villain wins. So she's like, finally, But anyway, I digress. So series 1 of Echo is a very interesting one. I personally I'm gonna give my 2 cents on what I think of it at the end. But watching it, if you don't know nothing about Echo, this show definitely lays down the groundwork for newcomers. And Marvel has been fantastic at bringing characters to the forefront that you don't really see on the day-to-day basis, or hear about or read about on the day-to-day basis in comics that's not like a powerhouse, character like the Iron Mans, the Hulks, the Spider-Mans, the, whatever may be, Captain America's. She is a street level vigilante, okay? And she kind of plays within the same sandbox with Daredevil, the same sandbox with like Punisher, Spider-Man, pretty much street level criminal, street level crime, street level events. And I love how they were able to really show culture appreciation. That's one thing Marvel has been pretty good at, and within their last swings at TV shows or movies that had the adaptation of a culture of the character. For example, Black Panther, they showed the rich culture, even used real African um, um, traditions that was implemented into the series, into the movie. It really kind of gave you the appreciation that you wanted to see as a representation on the screen, even with the Mayans or Mexican heritage with the second Black Panther. So they really do a great job with that. So to see them use the Native American the heritage as her background, and to really tie that into who she is, because at the end of the day, she's finding her identity. If you haven't watched Hawkeye, which is on Disney Plus as well, I recommend watching that, because a lot of that ties into Echo. So Echo is, if you haven't seen Hawkeye, then go ahead and slightly back yourself on out of here. Go ahead and watch it and then come back, because there's gonna be some spoilers there as well. All right, so you've been one. So on Hawkeye, pretty much when um um Clint was going under the alias as I just had it as Ronin. He was hired as a hitman to take out who was Maya's, which is Echo's. That's a character, Maya. Maya, father. He was sent to take out her father. She kind of was hell bent on going after Green, going after the Ronin. So by all means, she wanted to find who the Ronin was. She wanted to hunt him down. She wanted to make him pay for taking her father away from her. And she ended up landing herself, obviously, with um Kingpin, who promised her he'll find her killer for her and serve that killer on a platter for her, which he kind of technically did, but kind of miss out the part that he orchestrated the whole thing. Man, that's a boy, that's a devious, that's one grimy, that's a grimy dude right there. You a grimy character, But hey, that's Kingpin. That's who he is. That's his MO. He's a grimy guy. So with that being said, she didn't find out that the Ronin or Clint was hired by Kingpin to take out her father and kind of lay down the groundwork for Echo. So when it goes in, obviously it shows you how she ended up linking up with him, how she ended up getting in a mingle, in a twine with him, and what their history was. And I love how they kind of like really showed him, Kingpin, as being almost like a father figure or uncle rather to her. We obviously know he's a bad guy. We know he had her father taken out the picture, but he really did and really truly loved her. Now he always have an angle to play because that's Kingpin, but he really did truly love her so much to where she shot him in the face. She shot the man in his face. Like, I don't know about you, but if somebody shoot me or you in the face and we somehow survive, the last thing we thinking about is having dinner and like, you know what? I forgive you. No, I'm not forgiving you. It is war, man. When I see you, it is over with. What do you mean? You took my eye out. I only got one eye now. So with that being said, he really loved her so much to where he was willing to forgive her. Like, look, come back home with me, and I give you the empire you desire. You want an empire? I give you one. That's how much, and I love the dynamic between those two characters because it really made the decisions that she made throughout the series that much more impactful. So much to where, hey, you can drop everything you're doing, this whole temper tantrum you kicking up. Let's let bygones be bygones. Yeah, I took your father out. It's business. You know what I mean? But in return, look, you shot me eye for an eye. So you shot me. We even now. All right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna give you this empire you desire. You want this empire? Just come back home. Come back with me. Just come back home with me, and I give you what you want. He could have taken her out. Come on, that's Kingpin. He could have taken her out a billion times over. When he came to her house and she came back to her grandmother's house and realized he was there, like for real, he could have had her nana and everybody tied up in the house. He could have like just tortured them and took her out the picture as well, and it just really made it just gruesome. And he chose not to. He chose to keep their tradition by having their Sunday dinner on a Thursday, but have their Sunday dinner and just bring her the proposition, say, look, I can give you the throne if you want the throne. And she had a lot to think about. She pondered on it. She even went back to her uncle, like, you know what? That ain't a bad idea. I mean, my father, she did take my father out. I'm gonna get him, but I do have my own empire, though. That dude, I'm gonna be a queen pin. Can you imagine that? Queen pin. So she did ponder on it. She did, think about taking an opportunity. Now, however, obviously she didn't end up taking it. But with that being said, I just really love the dynamic between her and Kingpin. Even you had a cameo with Daredevil in there. So if you got Kingpin, Daredevil had to be somewhere nearby because as Marvel already painted and laid down the groundwork, that is one of Daredevil's arch nemesis. It always has been, but especially in the series, that really has been like the forefront of Daredevil's rampage to take down Mr. Fisk. So with that being said, being that he made like a subtle cameo on that show was just, you know what, this is what I'm talking about, Marvel. I know I just made how can you fix Marvel 2 episodes prior. But this right here is just really what can fix Marvel issues. This can fix Marvel because this episode or this season rather really laid down the groundwork for a good street level like set of events. And being that you had Daredevil made his cameo up there in his red suit, not that laughable suit he had in God knows She-Hulk, but being that he had his classic suit and he just went to like clapping cheeks and then he ended up running against Miss Maya, and she held her own. You got to give her credit. She held her own. We know Daredevil be clapping cheeks almost every episode, period. Like he just the cheek clapper of street level criminals. Like you hear Daredevil, they think of like Batman equivalent fear. And because he just blind in like a blind fury of just cheek clapping. All right, this brother is relentless. So being that she held her own in Mr. Fisk, also known as Kingpin, mentioned like, yo, you held your own. Like not many people can do that, dog. Like you kind of got your cheeks clap a little bit, but you live to tell about it, and you put some paws on them too. So respect. So with that being said, I love that, and I didn't uh um get to that point where I felt like, okay, you're really trying to carry her across the cross on the over the finish line. Because at first I thought like, hold on, are you really gonna like use Daredevil like you did with him in She-Hulk? Because the show, by the way, She-Hulk was a pretty funny comedy, right? But for what it's worth, the show wasn't all that great, so you had to bring in some reinforcements. So I was thinking, like, hold up, are you going to do this with Echo, or are you going to bring in Daredevil to kind of like be that offset to kind of keep the show interesting? And being that they didn't, thank you. And they even put a report out that they cut some of his scenes. That was perfect, great. Whoever did made that decision, great decision, because we didn't want Daredevil all in the forefront of a show. We did not want a Diddy in the background dancing all in her fight scenes. We wanted to be solely about Maya and her journey, and that's what it was. And I mean, every episode had a tone of emotion, resentment, guilt, frustrations, confusion, and it just really shown the humanity side of a vigilante and what they go through based off the events that made them a vigilante. And this is why this show to me is going to be one of the best Marvel shows this year, because of the fact that it really gave you culture appreciation. It really gave you a great balance between good and evil, gave you a good balance between family drama, family, secrets and whatnot. And it really gave you just a nice undertone of who Maya is and who she will become. And even with the showing the parts of the episode when it showed her ancestors and how they stepped to the forefront, how they became heroines, which is the female hero, how they became like, the leaders of their tribes or their groups or the whatever it may be. It really showed the power of what a woman can do when she has a mission. And Maya had a mission, and she clapped cheeks every episode. I love, just her fighting style. I love just her how resourceful she can be. And it really painted the picture that she's going to be a force to reckon with. Like Maya's going to be a force to reckon with in the street level events of Marvel. She's going to be really somebody you want to keep your eye out for. Like I'm gonna watch out for her and keep some detail on her. She might catch me slipping. So I really like that, and I really did like the fact that it really kind of like slowly kind of like peel back the layers about Echo. And then in the last few episodes, they kept mentioning Echo, your ancestors echoing in the background. So they kind of like, sprinkled a little name in there, a little salt bay, the little name in there real quick, like Echo, Echo, you know. So and then they sewn a suit, and I seen what a mother was really a really good added layer there, because she really did have that she really needed that closure, and she got that closure from her mother, in that scene, who wasn't obviously alive, but it was just a vision she was having, and she really said a lot of things that Maya needed to hear to encourage her to go forward and make the decision that she had been making. So only a few gripes I may have about the show is um I felt that it really should have shown a little bit more of her, let's say in her suit, right? Like you had that one scene that was cool, but I wish it was saw her more, a little bit more on her in a suit a little bit. You can tell throughout the episode the evolution of her just being in the leather jacket and having her own little homemade suit or put together kind of uniform, and it was kind of subtly, as a subtle hint, like, hey, this is just like Spider-Man's homemade costume equivalent. And then you showed her suit towards the end, the scene with the mother. So I wish you would have seen her more with suit on, which is Marvel kind of have that niche for the humanizing side of their characters, putting on the infamous or most the iconic suits. They kind of want to peel back the layers and then kind of let them, metaphorically speaking, grow into that character, which means they grow into the suit. So I mean, I get it. I get it. I get it. I just want to see more suit scenes, which is a small gripe. The other gripe I have is to where I really not a fan of how the final fight scene went down with Kingpin. Wasn't a fan of it. I felt like it should have been more of a brawl between her and Kingpin. That would have been really cool. Like just like him almost just beating her to where she's like, hey bro, like I call quits, but she just having one of those flashbacks of her ancestors, and then boom, she comes back and rile up, had that Rocky scene, John Clive Van Damme infamous montage moments when he was getting beat up and he realized all of the training montages, and now he comes back. Nah. So I was wanting that moment to happen, and then it ended up being almost like a intervention, which is her and Kingpin. Like, hold up, let's cure ugh, some of your past traumas. I know you had trauma of taking your father out. Well, let's see, can we heal that? And she ended up playing like a therapist. I'm like, hold up, bro. Like this dude literally like just took your father out, came to your city, in your town, and just wreak havoc. You want to just give him like a heart to heart moment? Like, I want you to clap some cheeks, player. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course, you're not going to take him out of the picture, but I want you to put some paws on him too now. So and it ended up being like a therapy moment. And then he ended up like, what did you do to me? What did you do to me? And he just shows him just a cut scene of him getting in the car and driving off. And the police coming. I'm like, all right, that was a very bad ending. Like the ending was a letdown. To me, it was a letdown. It was almost like a quick way to wrap up something that would have been a 4 episode stretch. Yo, we got to end this. We only got clearance for these many episodes. So like, all right, let's just patch it together and throw it in there. And that ending for what the show was building up for was a letdown to me. Now, that doesn't mean the show isn't worth the watch. The show is definitely worth the watch. You see my expression when I said that? Definitely. You see them make that my thumbtack. So being that the way it built up and the way it ended up ending was a disappointment. Like it should have been more of a real, like I really wanted to see, like, for example, everybody chime in, and it did show where her uncle had a scene where he kind of like, did his part, and her cousin, then her mom, not her mom, but her nana, and then her cousin. But I wanted to see like the people, right? The people around them, like the people that was in the city, kind of like almost all have they little moments where they chime in. And but I do understand how they want to just keep like the event going and everything going on behind the scenes casually. Like you don't see a guy with a pistol just kind of here taking his time aiming, like almost with the almost with the Childish Gambino pose. So and you don't see a guy with a rocket launcher clearly. Like, I mean, come on, where's your antennas? Like, but hey, okay, I digress. So but in all that build up for it to be a heart to heart showdown, like, look, man, just let go of your traumas. Let it go. Let it go. Come here. Come here. Bring it in. Like, nah, that's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see a great fight scene. I wanted to see some moves. I want to see a great fight scene. I want to see almost like Daredevil Kingpin fight scene in his apartment, in Kingpin's apartment, right? And it's funny now that I think about it, because Kingpin had an infamous fight scene in his office off the original Daredevil with, of course, Ben Affleck, which then he ended up with. So, hmm, another episode. So, but I really wanted to be that equivalent episode, like they really bust each other up, like they was, So I really wanted to see that type of showdown. And you still could have had that heart to heart moment, right? Let's say he's about to choke her out, right? Let's say he's about to really like take her out the picture, and she's like, "Hold up, but wait, there's more," and then have that moment, right? Like that would have been like okay, and then he would have let her go because he realized that would have had a more of an impact than she just laying hands on him, praying for him like he's in the prayer line, and he's like, "What happened?" And they're home in the car driving off, like, "What? What?" So and Mark look at each other like, yeah, this ain't the ending. Like it was just such a rush. Like it was building up to be a great showdown, but then it was rushed, right? It was like the writers was like, I got so many ideas. Like they had infinite ideas, and they were just having like that beautiful mind scene. And he's like, and they're like, nope, you only got one more episode, reel it in, wrap it up. And that's what it seemed like what happened. They ended up having to wrap it up. And obviously he lives on. He kind of continues being Kingpin because he's going to be a huge part in the street level events of Marvel. So we get it. She don't take him out, but I really wish there was a bigger fight scene for what it was building up to be. Um, I do love how they really really show appreciation for the physically challenged, right? For and it really showed because she's obviously missing a leg, and it really shows like that ain't stopping nothing. She got one leg, and she got a prosthetic leg, and she's still clapping cheeks. Imagine, bruh. And like, bro, like she's like was a force to reckon with, like even with the prosthetic leg. And it really just showed, how can you put this? Really showed representation for that community. So I'm pretty sure they was very, very pleased with that. And then with sign language throughout the show, I'm pretty sure a lot of the actors and actresses had to learn sign language, which is great job, Marvel. Like and it really kind of like really implemented and really made it fit and not stand out. Even when obviously with Kingpin, when he had like the translator there, and I'm like, this is going to be an awkward dynamic because now they one-on-one heart-to-heart moments. It's going to be really awkward because he's having a sensitive moment when he's giving her sensitive information, talking about personal stuff, and you got to assign all this stuff. Like, I'm just glad to where he ended up having that technology where he's able to speak to her and she understand about doing sign language through the implant that he put into her eye. So that was very subtle, not like out of place, but it's very subtle. And with Marvel's technology in that universe is very, very, you know, believable, and it's not like, oh, come on. So and I couldn't see him doing full sign language. Like it just really takes away from who Kingpin is. He's just a person with the inability to adapt to sensitive situations or sensitive things because he's such a brute, pulverizing figure. It really showed that, look, I don't know sign language, but I'm gonna get the technology so I can understand you and you can understand me. So that was cool. Um, I mean, the characters, the supporting cast was funny, was good. I really do love her cousin, Biscuits. Like he's the comic relief, and it's not like, and I love how he plays character. He wasn't like over saturating funny, like he didn't. Because think about it, if three jokes more would have really changed the tone of what the story was. So the jokes landed where they needed to land for the moments where it needed to be said in, if that makes sense, right? But it really want to give you a serious undertone, a gritty undertone. Like, yo, this ain't no walk in the park. This ain't no Spider-Man, kumbaya. This is cheese get claps, bodies drop out here. It's real out in these streets. And I really do love the dynamic. I really love just, man, like even with the visions she have, it's just it wasn't overwhelming. It wasn't like overdoing it. It just really build her character up to where now if you see her, let's say, make a cameo in another show, you know enough about her now to truly appreciate her presence in whatever series or in whatever movie that she may end up cameoing in. So, with without boring you to death with everything else, um, she is definitely going to be one of the foes, perhaps, of Daredevil. And I really would love to see her more, kind of like cross into that universal appearance more, or her presence being acknowledged, or maybe moments of doing an investigation where it kind of like, hey, that might be Echo, that might be Maya. So I want to keep her like just at the forefront. Hey, this show might not be about her, but she still exists out here. So because I feel like if you use the opportunity right, you can really build her up to be a very, very important character on the street level side of Marvel. Man, and in other news, as a side note, I just found out that they just brought back Defenders, which should be on the next episode. They made Defenders a canon. They actually made it canon. But follow me for my next episode as I discuss how that could work in this era of Marvel. So, with that being said, I give my review out of a scale from 1 to 10. I give the series a strong 7, 7.5 maybe. Um, for what it's worth, I mean, I can't give it a 10 because you got to think about it. It shows that it stands beside, like, Captain America Winter Soldier, shows like Hawkeye, shows that it stands beside that are very, 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 very good shows. But it's a strong 7.5 for me. Possibly a 8, like teetering on the 8 side. But it's a much watched series. It shows a lot of great representation for culture, the disabilities and whatnot, and it just really showed what the fallout of family could be with the loss of a loved one, and the elements around them. So I'm gonna change my 7.5 to an 8. So let's say an 8, strong 8, right? I wouldn't say a strong 8. Let's say just a light 8, a 8 light. How about 8? Is there such thing as an 8 light? I just made it up. 8 light. All right. So with that being said, thank you for watching this episode of Blerd Talk. If you like my reviews, if you like my rants, or you just like me flipping around like the wavy, inflatable, flowing arm man from Family Guy, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell for more episodes. Peace.